Alrighty, so we have the brand new McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse series of figures. So let's get started with it. So we have Batman the Animated Series version is our first one here. Gonna test the water, see if you guys like this or not. Let's check out what they got in store for us. I know it was quite a surprise when we found out that McFarlane Toys was taking over DC for their figures over Mattel. So McFarlane isn't what they used to be. They are known for their statues and their non-articulated figures. They're very limited articulated figures. So a lot of people were nervous when they found out that McFarlane was taking over DC. A lot of people wanted Hasbro to take over because obviously Marvel Legends, and they're pretty much pros when it comes to articulating their figures. But slowly but surely, McFarlane has been stepping into the articulation game finally with their Fortnite figures and some of their Call of Duty figures that they've been putting out. Everything that they're putting out now are, pretty much is going to have articulation more than what they ever have done. So these are like they're more like 7-inch figures. These are a lot bigger scale than 112. So keep that in mind. Here is the box art that we're going to get. They're keeping the DC Multiverse name here. So they're going to do movies, TV shows, and comic stuff, animated stuff, everything. So that's why it's called Multiverse, of course. You can pick these guys up at BigBadToyStore.com. A lot of them are selling out quick. So seems to be very popular. A lot of people are liking these. Last I checked, this Batman was sold out. But, BBTS, they tend to restock very nicely. So keep an eye on that link. Save it into your favorites and just check it every once in a while, see if it comes back in. But anyways, enough talking, let's get into the actual review. So there's the front of the box. Here is the side. We get Batman, the animated series on the side. On the other side, we get another clear window of Batman. And then the back side, we get some art from the actual TV show, the animated series. And it looks like we get a look at some future figures that are coming out, and they only show the art, they don't show the actual figures. So we got Nightwing, Superman, another Batman, we have Harley Quinn from the upcoming movie, and then we have Harley Quinn, the classic version. So they're mixed because this Harley Quinn comes out in this wave, so does this Batman, I believe. These other three are actually brand new, they are not out yet. I'm guessing they're part of the series 2. But let's get to it, let's get it open. So here we have our animated Batman out of the box. He comes with a nice little trading card, so that's pretty cool of them to do. Didn't know that was included, so I guess I'll show that off first. Trading cards with your figures, you don't see that anymore. Was this ever a thing? I don't know. But on the back, this is where you get your read-up, so you don't have it on the box like you normally do. You have it on your card here. Let's get it to focus, and maybe you can pause it and read it if you guys are interested in reading this. And the second thing you guys probably noticed is the base. So he does come with a base. Seems like all these figures do come with their own bases. So we have DC, that's it, just DC printed on there, and he can still stand up on his own. So don't get, well, gotta balance him out. Don't get it twisted. Just because they come with bases doesn't really mean that they don't stand. They do. Although, with the animated look that they designed on the figure, they of course made the upper body a lot more bulkier than the legs. We got skinny legs, skinny little ankles and feet, but they can still stand up. Alright, and here's your up close shot at the Batman. So we have the eyes are like deep inside the head there, but you can see the white eyes. You see it better in person. Maybe if I move the head up, get the lighting in there. But it's not as dark as it looks in the camera, at least the way I'm seeing it through the screen right now. But it looks pretty good. My first impressions of the figure, it kind of feels like a miniature version of the Mondo Batman, which is saying a lot because that's a really nice figure. But it just feels and looks kind of similar, which is a good thing. So with McFarlane, the first thing we're gonna kind of eye is the articulation of the figure, and it's promoting that it has 22 points of articulation. So that's not too shabby right there. So they went with the black and gray color instead of like the bluish color that Mondo went with. So there's the cape, and on the back side it's kind of blue, and then there's the front. So not bad. I like the sculpt. Overall it looks pretty good. I think they did a pretty good job. So as we see the pair of fists on the figure, we do get some other hands. We get one more pair of hands, so it's not crazy when it comes to the accessories, but we do get something. So we have a pair of trigger finger hands. And this is so he can hold a little grapple gun that he comes with. And that is so he can hold this accessory piece here. So that's pretty cool. Reminds me of the little accessory piece that Mondo included with theirs. This does not come off though. It's just like this the entire time. But we do get this piece, and then we get one batarang. And here it is. Alright, so we have a head on like a little ball joint. Not a lot of movement on the head. You can hear the squeaking, I mean, left and right. But you can't do a 360 spin. It's because of the sculpt of the face. It's very fat. So once it gets to the side of the cheek, it gets stuck. So you're gonna get him to look left and right very little. It's something. Looking up, he can look up, and he can look. So there's the ball joint just popped off. But as you see how that is done, but looking down is not really gonna happen because of the fact that you have his head shaped like this. So this is gonna hinder it for sure. So we pop that back in. Yeah, that's not gonna move down too much. We have shoulder articulation, but it is covered and draped over with his cape. So not much around this either. So you can move it forward about that far. That's as far as you're gonna go. And then back, in and out about this far, which isn't too terrible. And then we have, so you can see it's like a socket in there, but you're not really gonna get that movement too much. There's a bicep swivel, a single jointed elbow swivel at the wrist with a hinge, so it's a ball jointed hinge at the wrist. We have a diaphragm joint that we get a swivel, and it moves forward and back. We also get a swivel at the waist, and it moves forward and back at the waist as well. The belt is a little separate piece that moves around, nothing crazy. The legs will kick forward about this far and back, in and out. He can do a split. You can see kind of the articulation design for the groin. Is there a thigh swivel? Not really. Very subtle left and right movement for the thigh. And we do get double jointed knees. So that's there, and they're pretty stiff. We have ankle hinge and a rocker, and you can kind of swivel it too. Oh, you can't swivel it, yeah. So there's that, and then we have a toe hinge at the foot. So nothing crazy in terms of posability. It's limited for sure because of the upper torso. Maybe if he had more of a bend at the diaphragm joint, it would help, like in a running pose like this, to bend it forward a little bit more. I do have him on the base, of course. He's on one foot. Very hard to pose him sometimes. You can get poses and balance him out with his small little feet. I've seen a lot of complaints with the ankles. It's not that it's loose. It can hold the weight, but it's a little weird sometimes. And the feet are small too to hold a bulky figure, and he's got some weight to him. But overall, he looks really good. Not too bad. I mean, I like him. I do like him, and I'm not like a gigantic McFarlane fan or DC fan or anything like that, but I like the look of the figure. It's definitely not a Marvel legend, like in terms of articulation and quality, although he's got a lot of articulation points that Legends does have. I mean, I think he's missing double jointed elbows, maybe an ab crunch instead of a diaphragm joint. I don't know. Or maybe make the diaphragm joint bend a little bit more. And then you really can't do anything about the shoulders because you're going to mess up the design of the cape if you break it up into like articulated pieces, and people might not even like that look anyways. So I think for just an animated Batman, this looks good, and they added the articulation to where they could. So here's just some more examples of, you know, the hindering and the difficulty of posing him up sometimes in the ways you want him, like trying to get him to throw a batarang and make him look good. It's very hard. It's probably not possible, to be honest, but I mean, if we could swivel the head more left and right, that would make much of, you know, a lot of difference. A big difference. Man, I can't speak today. It would make a big difference. And if we could just get the double jointed elbow, and I mean, with this Batman, of course, if the shoulders were not hindered by the cape, it would make it a lot easier too. But, you know, that's the sacrifice we're going to have to make just for the sake of this being an animated Batman. But Yeah, something like this, or getting him to run, or just other poses is just going to be a little more difficult. So keep that in mind. With these, might turn people away. Like always, it will always turn people away, but it is what it is. If you're somebody that just wants an animated Batman and you love this design, you know, you just got to sacrifice some posability for a good looking animated Batman. Also, this is what the peg looks like for those interested when you remove the hand from it. Alright, let's get some height comparisons. We'll get the Mayfix Spider-Man in here first. And then we'll get the Mezco 112 Collective, X-Force, Wolverine. So, looks like Spider-Man is the shortest one. Then we got Wolverine standing taller than Spider-Man. And then, of course, we have the McFarlane Batman. Alright, now we have next to the Mezco 112 also. This is the Cable on the left side. And then we have the Marvel Legends by Hasbro, Wolverine on the right side there. Of course, they're all scaling underneath Batman. And there is a huge difference, of course, because Mondo scales a lot taller. I think they're about 12 inches tall. And you can see the color here. So they could have gone with the blue color. So that was an option, but they didn't. They just went with the black color. So I don't know. Some people may prefer the blue. Some may prefer the black. So yeah, but definitely you're going to be paying more for Mondo. And you're going to get what you pay for. So you get more articulation, more plastic because he's bigger, and more accessories too. You get even more accessories if you end up going with the deluxe version, which is sold out now. But if you did, you paid more. So there's that. But for a $20 figure, I think this is a pretty nice, decent amount of plastic for your money. And in case you want to look at the face of the Mondo Batman, there he is. So definitely different look. They went with a fully animated paint scheme on the figure, so that makes a big difference too. So I didn't collect any of the Mattel figures, DC figures at all, so I don't have that to compare it to. So I'll leave it up to you guys to let me know what you guys think of this compared to the Mattel figures that they were producing. And if you like this better than the Mattel, or do you like the Mattel better than this? I'm really interested in hearing what everybody else has to think about this line by McFarlane. Do you guys like it? Do you hate it? Let me know your thoughts down below. Let's see what everybody thinks of these figures. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Leave a like if you did. Leave a comment. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And as always, have a great day. Bye.
That's crispy.